What is up, y'all? I am back with another video and I want to get straight into it today. And we're just going to be talking about market structure because it's so important, y'all. And I realized during my backtesting session how important the timing of market structure is. The timing of your break of structure. You know what I mean? Because something could clearly be going up, something could clearly be going down, right? But how do you know that it wants to keep going that way? You know what I'm saying? Or like, let me word that differently. Something could be trending, but does it clearly want to go that way? Let's really think about that, man. That's where market structure comes in. I have a whole bunch of examples of setups and the timing of the market structure. So first is this gold setup that I took on July 31st. This setup is clearly going up now, right? From here, it's going up, but we just came from a downtrend, but we're actually like going up and stuff. Now, in this case, I'm gonna just tell y'all what I did. So here, I would, okay, my strategy is basically like, when something is trending and all the EMAs are aligning, I have the 50, which is the blue one, the 13, which is the gray one, 200, which is the red. Once it pulls back to the 50 and then closes above the 13 for uptrends, of course, I get in on the break of candle. So in this case, I'm like, okay, bet, like we're going up, we're on an uptrend, let's get in. We go for 1 to 1 or 1 to 1.5 depending on the quality of the setup. And in this case, boom, lost pretty bad. You know what I'm saying? It lost. Um, but when I really think about this, let's look at the timing. Let's look at the timing of the break of structures, right? This was before, this was before our session. Our session starts in the gray. Um, and in this case, when something is trending, but it's not clearly trending, that's the difference I want to talk to you guys about because this isn't clearly trending upwards. It's trending upwards, but not clearly. Like it could be just a pullback, kind of like, yesterday. But if you zoom out, we're going down. You know what I'm saying? So how am I gonna know that it wants to clearly go up? You know what I'm saying? How am I gonna know that it wants to clearly go up? And that is if I get a break of structure in my session, especially for a setup like this that is coming out of a downtrend and now you're going up, but it could be a fluke. It could just be a pullback if you look on the higher time frames or something. So that is what I learned from this. In setups like this where the trend is, down, but you're just starting to go up, it's very fresh. Price action isn't super clean, but it's, going up. You need to wait. You need to wait. Break a structure in my session would have indicated that, a major break, like breaking this, it would have indicated that like this wants to, keep on going up. Now we have NAVs. This is a very similar setup. In this case, I thought it looked a little better than the gold one, but it's the same concept, right? We are going down and now we are just starting an uptrend. So I'm telling myself like, yeah, we got the EMAs aligning, all this stuff, all this good stuff, right? And I'm gonna get in. And this is literally, where I got in and stuff. To show y'all, we got in, went for a 1 to 1. It was close to winning, but I'm so glad it lost because I was able to see the lesson in it. Boom. Same type of thing happened, it lost, right? But in this case, it's the same thing. I would want to see a break of structure. I would want to see it break this during my session. And as y'all see later in the day, it did break that, right? And then, it pulled back. It didn't touch the, my setups wouldn't have been valid, but as you can see, it broke it and then it pulled back a little bit and then it started going back up. You know what I'm saying? But that was all in the session. So over here, we didn't know if it wanted to keep going up in our session. You know what I'm saying? Because the trend is so fresh and so new, and the price action isn't showing that we truly want to still keep going up after being in a downtrend. So it's the same type of concept. We'll have to wait for a break of structure during our session. Now we have this setup on NAS, which is very similar, right? we're downtrending. But this is something that we have to be a little more, pristine about. We need to really be particular about this type of stuff because, as you can see, this when you zoom out, we're in the uptrend, but now we're going down, right? But we need to see a major break, bro, because Nas is overall always going up. So in this case, I took this setup right here. You can already tell that it's about to lose, right? Did the 50-13 thing, and then it ends up losing. But in my case, I should have waited. I actually re-entered this too on that same break, and then it lost again on some bull. Like I was irritated, bro. But in this case, if it wants to keep going down into my session, I need to see this break. You need to see this break because now we're just kind of hovering around this area. Like we haven't broke this area. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's still like in some indecision. Like it's not showing where it wants to go. Now, I'm gonna show y'all examples of it actually breaking during the session and then showing that it truly wants to keep on going down. But here, as y'all can see, the break of structure needs to happen during the session. We need to see, lows getting broken just so we're more confident in the breakouts. Now let's talk about gold here. In this setup, in this case, we're clearly going down, right? We're clearly going down. We had a nice break of structure right here. This was actually very good. In this case, since we have this perfect break of structure, I would have, taken a sell if it hit the 50 right here. Since we actually broke we broke the low. We broke the low. In those other cases, we didn't. You know what I'm saying? And we clearly broke it. And we're clearly in a downtrend. So when you're clearly in a downtrend, and if you clearly break the low or the high, depending on how it's trending, before the session, that's when a setup is more valid. So this would have been valid. But here's another example of it actually breaking during your session. So this broke. We made a new low during our session, and then it ended up going above to the 50. And here, boom, we close right below the 13. We go for that 1-to-1 or maybe a 1-to-1.5 in this case, but I don't remember. I'm going to just say 1-to-1. But as you can see, we hit the 1-to-1, bro. We hit the 1-to-1. Simple as that. We hit the 1-to-1. Nothing else. That's it. We hit the 1-to-1. And we're more confident in this setup because it actually broke structure during our session. Now, some people would say like, yeah, we should target down here, but in my case, I like going for my 1-to-1s, being in and out the market. All right. So here we also have another similar case, which is very similar to this NAS setup. So I want y'all to see the difference. Here, it broke. It broke this low. You know what I'm saying? We are going down. It broke this low. Broke these lows. But I wanted to see it break this low. I'm not going to lie, because look at this price action over here. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to see it really break some lows, bro. And in this case, it broke no lows. In that setup I showed y'all earlier. But in this case, it did. So now that we know that, we're paying attention to silver, bro. We're paying attention. And as soon as we see that we can get in this setup, we are going to get in and we are going to take our chances. I remember in this one, we went for the 1-to-1.5. Let's just say that, whatever. And it won, right? 1-to-1.5. We waited for that break of structure. You know what I'm saying? It may not make a new low, but it's going to react better. It's going to react better because, it's actually showing that it wants to go down. You know what I'm saying? One more example. Here on oil, yes, we are going down. Yes, we are going down. Now, in this case, we broke structure during our session. This is a break of structure during the session. And now we're watching oil because it's showing that it wants to keep going down. Bet. We're in, bro. We're in. As soon as it breaks that, we're in. So in this case, you go for the 1-to-1 or 1-to-1, 1-to-1.5. Let's say 1-to-1.5 in this case. Then boom, you get your dub. Whew. You know what I'm saying? It can be a little nerve wracking sometimes, but hey, you get your dub, man. You got the dub. So that's all I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Sometimes you gotta wait. You gotta wait for the break of structure during your session. So you may be sitting around for a bit, but that's all part of the game, bro. Game is game. Now I want to show you guys examples of when it's actually fine to take setups that are, clearly trending and the break of structure happens before the session. So like I said, this it's going to be so clear, y'all. Y'all just have to zoom out and really look at these break of structures, right? So yes, this one has a break of structure. And if we zoom out, we are clearly trending up. We've been trending up for a couple days. We're clearly trending up. And we went back to the 50 for a healthy pullback. You know what I'm saying? You had this break of structure showing that it wants to keep on going up. And in this case, a little 1 to 1.5 action. Bam. Just like that. You got it. You got it in one candle. Literally in one candle, you got it. So that's good stuff, bro. You had the break of structure here. The key is to really zoom out and see if you're clearly trending or not and how good this break of structure is. Boom, you got it. Next, this is NAS. It's 6:55 right now. So our session starts at 8. As you can see, we broke this high before the session. We broke this high before the session. And you zoom out, clearly on an uptrend, y'all. Clearly. Like, this stuff has to be clear as day, bro. It has to be clear as day. So now, we just wait till it hits that 50 EMA and see if we can get into a setup. You know what I'm saying? Which is what it did here. Close above the 13. Go for that 1-to-1 and go on with your day. This one, let's just say 1 to 1.5. It's pretty high actually, so 1-to-1. Dub Nation, bro. Dub Nation. Come on, bro. Come on. Now this is just showing you guys the trend is clear here. Take note of this, man. I'm showing y'all some good examples for real. This is the last example. This one on oil. Let's zoom out. We clearly trending upwards, bro. You can tell we clearly trending up, right? It may not be the prettiest, but we are clearly trending up. And we have a nice break of structure right here, showing that we are making new highs. We want to keep going up, and it pulls back to the 50. We get in on the break of candle. So all of these, like, it's a big wall at 64.13 right now, and we are getting in at 64.14 as soon as it can break that. So here, we just wait, go for 1-to-1 or 1 to 1.5, and then boom. Let's see, are we gonna break it? Boom, all in one candle, bro. All in one candle. So take note of this, y'all. Take note of this. So let's just review. If a break of structure happens before your session, you want the trend to be clear. Like this, for example. You zoom out, you see if the trend is clear. Here, you zoom out, you see if the trend is clear. It's clear as day. Here, zoom out, see if the trend is clear. Now, if you're a little unsure, if the trend is kind of new, like this one, we were in a downtrend. You wait, man, because it's not clearly just going up, trending upwards, right? It's going up, but it's not clearly going up. So you would want to wait for a break of structure in this case, in your session. Same for this one. I showed y'all, like, it didn't break structure yet, and then we ended up losing this setup right here at 7:30. And then boom, we broke structure, had a little pullback. We broke structure during the session, had a little pullback, and then it just skyrocketed, right? But it showed that it wanted to go up in our session, So if it's trending downwards, or the trend is new, it needs to show that it wants to go up during our session, y'all. Same with this one. This one needed to show, because like it was going down, but like we were coming from an uptrend. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's slowly going down. So we need to see a major break. in this case. We need to see a major break in our session. We have no break of structure in our session over here. Let's just see if anything even happened. Nah, bro. Okay, we broke this. We broke this. Don't even think we broke that. So it kind of actually hit this exact same point. Just messing around for real. Just messing around. Starts going down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta wait for that break of structure. This is a perfect example. Um, and then obviously, like, if you want to be more patient, like I said, you know, this is going down, but we were just clearly going up. You want to wait for that break during your session, even though this one would have been great because it had that major break. But we waited for the break during the session, and oh shoot, we got the 1-to-1. We got the 1-to-1. Same with this one. You want to wait for the break during your session if the trend is not clear as day. That's all you want to be doing. You wait for your break of structure during the session if the trend isn't clear as day. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video because it can truly be a game changer for you guys to like have the patience and have the discernment to look at a setup and see if it's truly wanting to go up or if it's truly wanting to go down. Like, you need to really focus on like when your break of structure is happening, if the trend is clear. Like, with more practice, y'all got this, man. With more practice, y'all got this. But I just want to show y'all what I figured out because it's very important, and I feel like, you know, over time my setups are just going to be even better quality because I took a few bad quality ones and now I'm taking better quality ones. You know what I'm saying? And it's all lessons at the end of the day, man. I still got more lessons to learn, but I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I'll see you guys next week.